Hey, John Ty here, author of Crush It with Kindle, and welcome to this video on the secret to getting your book written fast. So let's look at what we're going to cover in this video. First of all, we're going to look at the number one secret to writing your book fast. Then we're going to look at flow, what it is, why it's important, and how to create it. Third, we're going to look at the first thing you should do every day. Fourth, we're going to look at how your EP is being stolen, and I'll explain what EP is when we get there. And then finally, we're going to look at how to create block time. So let's get straight into the number one secret, and the number one secret to writing your book fast is block time. This is absolutely key to getting your book written quickly. So what is block time? Well, block time is time to work on a particular project or activity completely uninterrupted. No distractions. So no emails, no messages, no phone calls, no one interrupting you for a chat or to ask you a quick question. So why is block time so important? Well, one reason is it allows you to be very efficient, and we'll talk about that in a moment. The other reason is because of the importance of flow. Block time allows us to get into what renowned psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and yes, I did have to practice that one, calls a state of flow. This is a state of concentration in which a person is completely absorbed in the activity at hand. It's also known as being in the zone. And it's when we're in a flow state that we do our best work. So if you want to be the best writer that you can be, you need to regularly create the conditions that allow you to get into a state of flow. And we'll talk about how you can do that in the rest of this video. Do your highest value work first. When I said at the beginning I would explain the first thing you should do each day, this is it. You have the most energy, creativity, and willpower early in the day. Set this time aside as your block time. Focus this time on your highest value work. And it's really important that you do nothing distracting beforehand. So avoid checking emails, avoid social media, avoid the news, because all of these things interfere with your brain's ability to think clearly and be creative. So do nothing distracting beforehand and be disciplined about it. Now, distractions, whether they come before your block time starts or during it, rob you. And I'll show you exactly what they rob you of on the next slide. That we get less done when we are distracted is obvious. What's not so obvious is that once the distraction is over, it can take 15 minutes or more to become fully focused again. Distraction destroys your chances of getting into a state of flow and robs you of your productivity. And it robs you of your earning power. There are no shortage of distractions. Many of them are people wanting just a minute of our time. But of course, as we know, just a minute is almost never that. It's more like 5 or 10 or 20 or even longer. Each distraction steals away a little bit of your productivity. And therefore, it steals from your earning power. And that is the EP that I referred to at the beginning of this video. So if block time is the key to being productive, and being productive is the key to being the best writer you can be and maximizing your earning power, how do you create block time? Well, there are 3 keys to creating block time. First, choosing a time. Second, managing your environment. And third, managing people. So let's go through each one of these in more detail. First, choosing a time. Decide on a time for your block time session, and ideally it should be the same time slot each day. And remember, you're at your most productive early in the day. And that's because our energy, our willpower, and our ability to concentrate is finite. So even if you think of yourself as someone who's more productive later in the day, if you can set aside block time for yourself early in the day and really focus, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Having a consistent time will help when it comes to step 3, which is managing people. And have more than one block time session if possible. The more, the better. Now, when I do this, I try to work in 2-hour blocks. What I like to do is set a timer for 50 minutes, work for 50 minutes, and then when the timer goes, I take a 10-minute break, move around, get the blood circulating, get away from the computer, give my brain a chance to recharge and process all the information, and then at the end of 10 minutes, sit down and do another 50-minute block. Now, initially, I was resistant to the idea of using a timer, but when I tried it, I found it incredibly liberating. It allows you to completely focus on what you're doing without worrying about the time, and then at the end you can take a short guilt-free break before going back and repeating the process. And these breaks are crucial for being your most productive and your most creative, because your brain has got to have some recovery time built in. The second step to creating block time is managing your environment. And this means three things. First, eliminating distractions, particularly things like phones and message notifications. Second, having everything you need at hand. So ideally, you should be able to create a work environment where you can just sit down and everything you need for that writing session is within arm's reach. Third, making sure you are physically comfortable. So make sure that you're properly hydrated and that you stay properly hydrated. Have healthy snacks available to keep your blood sugar levels stable, which is essential for your brain to be at its best. And make sure the temperature's right and that it's not too noisy. This might sound like obvious stuff, but it's really important to do everything you can to create the conditions that will best allow you to get into that state of flow. 3. Managing people. Block time isn't block time if people interrupt you. So explain to people the importance of your block time. And be prepared for them not to take you seriously to begin with. You may have to train them. Tell them that at certain times of the day you are not to be interrupted unless it's an emergency. And finally, be consistent. This is about setting ground rules and managing people's expectations of what is acceptable while you're working. Get consistent. And I'm talking here about getting consistent with yourself. You need to be consistent enough to build a successful habit around the use of block time. And if you can do that, it will transform your ability, your productivity, and your success as a writer. It's very possible to achieve more in 2 hours of block time than in the whole of a normal day. If you possibly can, schedule your block time for the same time of day each working day. Add extra blocks if you can. And if you do this, you'll see a phenomenal improvement in your productivity. So, before we finish, let's take a look at the key takeaways. 1. The secret to writing your book fast is block time. 2. Block time allows you to get into a state of flow. 3. Do your highest value work first when you have the most energy, creativity, and willpower. 4. Distractions rob you of both productivity and earning power. 5. There are 3 keys to creating block time. 1. Choose a time. 2. Manage your environment. And 3. Manage people. 6. Be consistent. Your block time should be at the same time each day. And 7. Add extra blocks if you can. So, this is John Ty. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to catching up with you on the next one.